Imagine a world where Chinese silk reached Rome before most Europeans knew China existed, where spices from Southeast Asia flavored medieval European cuisine, and where ideas traveled faster than the people carrying them. This wasn't just possible, it was the reality of ancient global trade networks that connected civilizations across impossible distances, leaving behind mysteries that still puzzle historians today. The Silk Road stands as the most famous of these ancient trade networks, but its name deceives us. It wasn't a single road, nor was it primarily about silk. This vast, interconnected web of routes stretched from China to the Mediterranean, carrying not just goods, but technologies, religions, and ideas that would shape civilizations. The real mystery isn't what traveled along these routes, but how they operated with such efficiency centuries before modern communication. Consider the astounding case of the Silk Road's information highway. Buddhist teachings traveled from India to China, transforming Asian spirituality. Greek astronomical knowledge reached India and China, influencing scientific development across continents. Perhaps most remarkably, paper-making technology spread from China to the Islamic world and eventually Europe, changing human communication forever. Yet historians still debate how these complex ideas traversed language barriers and cultural divides with such precision. The maritime trade routes present even greater puzzles. Ancient sailors from Southeast Asia reached Madagascar and Eastern Africa as early as the first millennium CE. The Phoenicians, that mysterious seafaring people from the Levant, established trade networks spanning the entire Mediterranean and beyond. Their voyages to Britain for tin and to West Africa for gold and ivory demonstrate navigational skills that would challenge modern sailors using similar technology. One of the most compelling maritime mysteries involves the Roman Empire's trade with India. Archaeological evidence shows Roman trading settlements along the Indian coast, with Roman coins found throughout South India. The Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, a 1st century CE navigation guide, describes detailed trade routes and ports from the Red Sea to India. Yet we still don't fully understand how Roman merchants coordinated these voyages across thousands of miles of open ocean. The scale of certain trade goods defies logical explanation. Take Baltic amber. This fossilized tree resin traveled from northern Europe to Mediterranean civilizations in such quantities that it appears in archaeological sites across multiple continents. The Amber Road, as this trade route came to be called, operated for over 1,000 years, yet we have limited understanding of how this fragile commodity survived such long journeys intact. Even more mysterious is the trade in precious stones. Lapis lazuli from Afghanistan appears in Egyptian tombs dating to 3000 BCE. Jade from Central Asia found its way to Chinese courts thousands of years ago. Turquoise from the American Southwest appears in Mesoamerican sites. The consistency of these trade patterns suggests organized networks rather than random exchanges, but the mechanisms remain unclear. The mystery deepens when we examine biological evidence. Recent DNA studies of ancient crops reveal astonishing transcontinental journeys. African crops appear in South Asian archaeological sites centuries before established trade routes. New World crops like sunflower and squash leave traces in Old World context that challenge our historical timelines. These findings suggest either unknown trade connections or the need to completely rethink our understanding of ancient human migration. The most intriguing puzzles come from the artifacts that shouldn't exist where we find them. Roman glassware in Han Dynasty Chinese tombs, not just one piece, but multiple examples suggesting established trade. Mediterranean-style statues in ancient Japanese burial sites, African ivory in prehistoric Scandinavian settlements. These aren't isolated curiosities, but patterns that hint at connections between civilizations we never suspected had contact. Technology transfer presents another layer of mystery. The water wheel originated in the Hellenistic world, but appeared in China centuries later with similar designs. The stirrup, crucial for cavalry warfare, emerged independently in different regions, yet shows remarkable similarity. The compass, developed in China, took centuries to reach Europe despite active trade. Why did some technologies spread rapidly while others moved at a glacial pace? The real enigma lies in the communication methods that facilitated this trade. How did merchants from different civilizations negotiate prices, quality standards, and delivery terms without shared languages or writing systems? The existence of standardized weights and measures across vast distances suggests some form of international trade protocol, but no records of such agreements survive. Consider the mystery of ancient trade documents. The Vineland map, if genuine, suggests knowledge of North America centuries before Columbus. The Piri Reis map shows details of South America and Antarctica that shouldn't have been known in 1513. These cartographic mysteries hint at lost knowledge and trade secrets that ancient merchants possessed, but modern historians can only guess at. The financial systems supporting ancient trade present yet another puzzle. How did merchants finance expeditions that might take years to complete? What credit systems allowed trade to flourish across such vast distances? Evidence of sophisticated banking operations exists from Mesopotamia to the Indus Valley, but the international aspects of these systems remain largely unknown. The role of climate and environment in shaping trade routes adds another dimension to the mystery. The rise and fall of the Silk Road correlated with climatic changes in Central Asia. The medieval warm period opened northern trade routes that later closed during the Little Ice Age. Yet we're only beginning to understand how ancient traders adapted to these environmental challenges across generations. Perhaps the greatest mystery concerns what archaeologists call invisible exports, ideas, technologies, and cultural practices that left no physical trace but transformed civilizations. The spread of religious concepts, philosophical ideas, and artistic styles along trade routes happened so organically that we can rarely pinpoint exactly how or when these transformations occurred. The most recent discoveries using modern technology have only deepened these mysteries. LiDAR scanning reveals previously unknown ancient roads in the Amazon rainforest. Satellite imagery shows lost trade routes in the Sahara Desert. Underwater archaeology uncovers shipwrecks that rewrite our understanding of ancient maritime trade. Each discovery raises new questions as it answers old ones. As we continue to unravel these ancient mysteries, we're forced to confront a startling possibility. Ancient civilizations were far more connected, sophisticated, and globalized than we ever imagined. The trade routes they established weren't just commercial enterprises, but the nervous system of early human civilization, transmitting not just goods, but the very ideas that made us who we are today.